it's very, very good, those two. And the only thing obviously is, and I think you mentioned it somewhere in one of the interviews, for actual rape victims of gang rape and whatever, that the emotion that might get in them loose at the end of the day.
I was much more concerned, far more concerned about doing the cartoon properly in a way that didn't look in any way salacious or in a way that would offend women or offend rape survivors. In those days I said rape victims, these days one would say survivor or gang rape survivors. And to a great extent I think it succeeded, or I succeeded, or the cartoon succeeded, I'm not sure. But not entirely. I mean, there were always, you can't control the way everyone receives the message you're trying to put out. So no matter how hard I tried to make one have empathy to make the viewer have empathy for the woman in the cartoon, this metaphorical woman, and the system of justice, there were always going to be people who take some sort of offence. That's always like that in cartoons. So there were mostly not so much the survivors themselves of rape or gang rape, but some feminists who were almost speaking on their behalf. I found that most of the people who were, if they were rape survivors or gang rape survivors and they called up a radio station, they were not condemning me. They were saying, I was shocked when I saw the drawing, and then I thought about that and I thought, actually, you make a good point, and that was my experience. It's almost layered with the real experience. So why should we shy away from that? And people were agreeing with the sentiment, the political sentiment. Many of them, the people who were being spoken for by some of the feminist groups who were not happy with it. So I had some discussions with some people, but generally speaking, I felt it did work.
Yeah. Okay, let's leave that one behind. We've talked at length on it. The case obviously was dropped at the end of the day, and I think I read somewhere that you were actually a little bit disappointed that you didn't have your day in court on that one.
By the time the case was dropped, yes, I was somewhat disappointed, because that case had lasted for 4 years, and unlike the other case where Zuma sued me over 3 cartoons, which actually lasted 6 years, in the case of Lady Justice, just that one cartoon over a 4-year period, they really, he and his lawyers really pushed it to the point where it was a day away from going to court. And we had the most fantastic case, because we itemized all those, we looked for and itemized all those instances where the people in the cartoon, the people I'd drawn, had said things that corroborated my version and made it would have been easy to stand up in court and not be shown to be defamatory. If you can say, well, this is it, it's in the public domain, that's what they've said. It would have been very damaging for Zuma. And it was just a few weeks before the ANC's national conference at Mangaung in 2012, and his lawyers eventually advised him with a day to go. Apparently they'd been trying for a while to just drop it. And that's what happened.
And then, but did they cover all your costs, or did you still have to?
No, I mean, in legal terms, when I don't know if you've ever been involved in lawsuits, but I've had quite a bit of experience now, and so I'm not a legal expert, but I know some of these things now. Apparently, full costs are regarded as punitive. I mean, that would be really, if you've done something that is completely outrageous, and the people you've been suing can say that was entirely specious and with no validity whatsoever, and that was you try to destroy the whatever. I'm not sure under what circumstances. Then they could award full costs. When they say costs, it usually ends up being about a third of costs. So the Sunday Times carried 2/3 of the cost. the Zuma himself, or his legal team, or whichever slush fund he was drawing his money from, he carried the in fact, there's a good chance that they used some taxpayers' money for that, which they're not allowed to do. It was a personal lawsuit, but we couldn't really follow that up.
Yeah.
That money. So he paid basically one third, plus he had to pay all of his own costs. So what a waste of money.